new environments and new habits. So first I started by going through my stimulus material and I found Norman Rockwell's painting. And it first made me wonder, what do people feel like outside their comfort zone? So I later researched it. I found out that women weren't normally jurors during this time. And that brought me to the question of, what do people feel like outside their comfort zone? Do they feel uncomfortable? Are they more willing to adapt to what's around them? Or are they more willing to stay true to how they feel or what they feel is natural? So my research question is, to what extent does cultural displacement have an effect on people of Indian descent, as people may experience negative effects when moving to a new area, as they may be more willing to adapt to what's around them rather than sticking to their natural ways. And this is important because it can cause cultural loss, as moving to a new area, you may not be around the same culture that you were around in your old environment. As post independence for India, ever since then they've been working on lots of mega projects, and those mega projects include lots of land. And these mega projects are projects like irrigation, establishing industries, and creating transportation. And by using lots of land, according to India Inc., 1 in 5 Indians will suffer from depression in their lifetime. And that can be caused through the government pushing people out of their home in order to create these mega projects and use the land needed in order to build these projects. Now, this is important because it can cause negative mental health side effects, as the Australian Psychological Society of Henley and Robinson found that rates of PTSD and anxiety and depression can vary, as the PTSD rates may vary because of a war that may be going on inside their country, or maybe a famine, as that may be a reason that might be a reason why they need to be pushed out of their old home. And this leads me to my first solution: conform to the new society and move to the new area, as moving to the new area would put them away from any danger that is in their area, as they would be distant from it. And this would allow for them to be safe. But the main problem with this is that they won't be with their natural culture, as they are more willing to adapt to what others are doing around them and not stick to what they are used to. And according to the stimulus source, Cultural Evolutionary Trade-off of Ritualistic Synchrony, they found that when people are more willing to conform to ritualistic synchrony, which is the act of performing something in sync with someone around them, they are more prone to be compliant to aggression, they are less creative, and people may pay less attention to people of minority descent, as this could directly affect people of Indian descent, as they may be considered minorities in America. And this leads me to my second solution, which is to stay in one's current position, as this would allow them to stay in their natural environment and keep their culture and not have to adapt to what's around them, as they are in their natural environment. The only problem with this is that they are in an unsafe place, as they could have just recently been pushed out for a mega project to be built, or they may be experiencing a war that's around them, as they would be in an unsafe position. As the International Displacement Monitoring Center found that nearly 5 million Indians had experienced a disaster in 2019, which may have caused displacement, as Indians would then be out of their natural culture and their natural environment, which would then put them in danger. This leads me to my final and best solution, which is to establish places of worship. as these places of worship would allow for people to safely practice their religion, as they won't be in danger of any war or being pushed out of their home that they may have just been in. As the only problem with that is the fact of getting the support needed to establish these places of worship, as this would be a very costly idea and a non-time efficient idea, as building these places of worship may also take a while as well. In the end, conforming to others around them wouldn't be the best idea, as conforming would cause a loss of culture, and it would cause a loss of culture, and overall isn't the best idea for one. And the second solution isn't the most ideal, as it would put one in danger, as they are not able to be in a safe position in order to safely practice their religion, which is then the reason why establishing a place of worship would allow for the safest option, as establishing a place of worship would allow for someone to practice their religion safely and in a safe environment. This is my work slip.
Alrighty. Alright, 2 questions for you. My first question is, how did your research question evolve as you moved through the research process?
My research question evolved through the research process because of, well, first I started off by, I didn't have the idea of the Indian descent, as I didn't have a perspective in the first place, so I needed to develop my research question in order to find a perspective and figure out who this could actually affect.
Okay. My second question for you is, how is your conclusion in conversation with other pieces of published work that you examined?
Could you repeat that?
Mm-hmm. How is your conclusion or your solution in conversation with other pieces of published work that you came across?
My solution can be compared to other solutions that I've found because of the fact that there are places of worship that are built for some people, as some people are able to practice their religion, but not all.
Alrighty.